All right. Let's get going. New attempt, new day, new attempt. Okay, let's start. Last week, I died to the birds in Crumbling Fire Missoula because I always have just done the same thing, just kind of slowly walk through the entire section. But this time I've done some practicing, and I think that I've kind of figured out how to do it better. I mean, I haven't figured it out. I had initially been trying a strat that I got from Gina Machino's God Run, which is what I'm basing everything on, my entire run on. But I had never got it to work. I didn't really understand how to deal with it. But after some fiddling around, I realized what I was doing wrong. And now everything should be good. Shouldn't have that issue again. So yeah, start again. New attempt. Surely all is well this time. Overall, last week was pretty good. Got pretty far on my first attempt. I forget where I died. I think, oh yeah, I died at the gold free. Just kind of a random, doing a random thing. Like, not dodging correctly. But, then my second attempt, I got to that bird area in Crumbling Fire Missoula, and yeah, pretty good for first attempt after quite a while without doing any attempts. So yeah, I wasn't too broken up about being, not that good in my first attempt, or not setting a distance PB on my first attempt after like a month. But hopefully we do better today. Get a little bit further. Grab those stone. That stone. Single smithing stone 1. Buy cracked pots. Buy the crafting kit. And we are off. Yeah, so now we start our roughly 50 minutes of setup. The first 40 minutes are the actual setup split. Then we kill DTS. But personally, I think that's still part of the setup because we're not actually fighting DTS, we're just cheesing it. And then we have another 10 minutes, 15 minutes of still very setup things. And once we get to Margit, that's when the run has properly, like, moved away from just doing boring setup stuff. All right, let's get our ride from her and set off. First up is getting 2 items from this camp. Headshot this guy. Headshot this guy. Now we get this flail. And the only reason we get this is that we can cheese Blackguard later on. And then down this way. And now we have the whetstone, and yeah, we're off to do our long kind of arc journey across Limgrave, where we get all of our smithing stone ones, some buffs, and the first half of the Dectus Medallion. I grab those smithing stone ones. That's the second, third, and fourth of those. Grab this grace for later. Stick to the right up here. The giant won't aggro. Down this way. We grab that strength knot, which we're going to be using for the entire run. Grab this grace so that later we can easily access whatever his name is. So that we can kill him and get Assassin's Gambit. To unsheath R2s and just grab the riposte. And sweet. Off we go. Grab this for our next couple of smithing stone ones, and we're going to buy a few more from this guy.
Oh, are you here as a custom?
And also going to grab this cracked pot. Grab those lilies for later. And now we're off to get the sleep pot recipe, as well as some runes. Voila. Grab this, and then a bunch of runes.
Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great Kenneth Haight, servant to the True Order and celebrated repudiator of
Grab this grace. This sacred tear and our wondrous physic flask. Grab those tiers. We're going to use the charged attack tier for that as our second tier for the entirety of the run, pretty much, along with that strength tier. And then in here we get the charged attack talisman.
well, you please. I'm hungry.
And we get our final smithing stone ones from here. Kind of just stick to the right over here. Avoid all these guys. And because it is nighttime, we're basically not going to aggro any of these guys. So when it's night, there's obviously a higher, you have a higher stealth. And yeah, enemies will not see you as easily. Okay, so Mighty Shot R1 here. Mighty Shot R1 here. Did I aggro that rat? Yeah, no, I didn't. Okay. Run behind here, and then another Mighty Shot. We're good. Okay. Crouch through here. And as soon as this guy stands up, we take care of him. And again, because it's night, the knight that has the bloody slash Ash of War over there won't get aggroed to you. And then grab that medallion and then head over to the church we were just at with the Wondrous Flask. And off we go. Hello? Apparently went a little bit too far for this. Okay. Up that spirit spring. We want to grab the Trina's Lily that's over here. And yeah, we're done with Limgrave until, for another 40 minutes or so. 35 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. For a little bit. Next up is Kaled. Gotta get a bunch of stuff from there. Notably the second half of the Dectus Medallion, as well as the Beast Repellent Torch, and the Radagon's Seal. Grab this Grace. Go this way. Yeah, I wonder if I could just get Flame Grant Me Strength right here, instead of coming back later. Feels as if that would be just as fast, or, I mean, faster. Maybe I'll try that next time. Stick to the left over here. Just so these guys don't see you. Dreaded dogs. Grab this Grace. Through here. Then I kind of aim to go around left over here, and then right over here, and then kind of just aim in between to be between these two dogs, and neither of them will see you. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's all this kind of stressful to go during the day up this hill to avoid all the dogs, but it's really not during the night. First we gotta sell all of our runes. And then we grab the Beast Repellent Torch, which is all we need. And then this way. Over to the fort over there that has the second Dectus half. Stick to the left over here. Avoid all the dragons. Pretty intuitive stuff, huh? And we have to equip our Beast Repellent Torch. Run up to around this little pillar thing, left-handed, just smack this a couple times. And that draws the Banshees? Whatever they're called, the enemies on the inside, those guys, to that wall, so that they don't actually see you. And then you can just run up here, and you're good. Easy as that. Grab this half. Oops. This way. This rat won't aggro because of our torch. Grab that rune. Wrap around here. Same deal with these guys. We're done with that. And now we can head back to Stormhill Shack. So yeah, now we have the seal and both half of the Dectus Medallion. Boast. both halves of the Dectus Medallion. And now we're off to Liurnia to do some more collection. Wrong one. I'm a little confused by what I did there. That was stupid. I think I was supposed to go just a little bit to the other archway, or a different archway, because there I drew the aggro of those bats, which have those ranged scream attacks that can catch you on horse, which would be a pretty frustrating way to lose a run. Pretty low likelihood that it occurs, I guess, if you're actually running past them, but still. Woo! Off we go. Okay, so now we are in Liurnia. And there's a few things on the menu. So we're first gonna grab our weapon. Then we are gonna grab, we're gonna start Raya's quest line. And then we're gonna get the Academy key as well as some kukris. And then in between all of those, scattered throughout, we're gonna be picking up every smithing stone 2 that we need to upgrade our weapon. So 12 of them. And from that, we're gonna, just go to Altus Plateau, and that's the last that we'll set foot in Liurnia. So, talk to this guy.
No matter. Why don't?
Right, so 3 smithing stone 2s. You can see there that we had the right amount of smithing stone 1s, so namely 12. And then for this little section, I'm just gonna stick to the left so that we avoid, as much as possible, those little caster guys. Most importantly, the Revenant that gets summoned somewhere up there in that shrine. And various things. The caster guys aren't very dangerous because I think that their ranged attack, that bell that you hear, the I forget what it's called, the Wraith calling bell or whatever. The attack has is slower basically than Torrent when you're sprinting. So we aim for this kind of little island over there, and then aim a little bit right, and our actual destination here is this little island. Speaking of which, okay, yeah, it is morning. And just head pretty much straight north of there, a little bit west from north. The reason that's important this morning is because over there, the Deathrite bird gets summoned if it's night, which is not exactly what we want. So yeah, equip that, equip this, and it's time for a highly honorable duel with this guy. Keep on walking forward. Just hold L2. And that's it. Sorry, pal. Grab his stuff, and we have the Iron Ball, which is what we fought him for, as well as, I guess, Raya's necklace. Yeah, it looks really dark. Kind of weird weather, even though it's morning.
Hello. Hello. Please.
Hello.
Hello, it's rather my mistress. But I was accosted. Could I ask that thug only if you've... Oh, what a blessing.
Here's the request.
The thug should please. Oh,
Give
yes,
our eyes
and keep
necklace,
covered
and
for
then we
the
get
eye. I see you are very to steady such, please.
this. And back to Boiled Prawn Shack. And straight ahead, we're aiming for this little shrine. We can unequip that. We're never going to use the flail again. Okay. This is the Lobster Shrine. Lobster Shrine is a little bit delicate. It is possible to mess something up here. It's possible to wake up these lobsters. I'd recommend just being patient with it. Staying well clear. Yeah, see, like, the lobster is facing the shrine right now. The lobster has to wake, so I'm just going to wait for him to turn around, even though it might not be strictly necessary. And then run very far left from this guy. Grab the smithing stone. And then, once again, very far to the right of the sleeping lobster. And keep an eye on that one, just in case it does aggro to you. Shouldn't. But, yeah. We're scot-free here. We're aiming vaguely westward. To the left of all these enemies. We're aiming for that shrine over there that's directly ahead of us. Some more smithing stone 2s. We're up to 9 now. So we have another 3 to catch. Just steer clear of these land squids. They can be surprisingly quick, I think, if you aggro them. And next up is the Academy Key. Grab this grace. And we're off. Try not to get landed on by those scarabs, as I think they do damage. So you could just lose her into them. Dismount. Grab the key. Grab the kukri, and immediately fast travel out before the dragon has time to aggro. Okay, and then for this section, I found that the best way to do this is to just kind of go fast. The flower opposite this shrine is pretty much always going to aggro for like half a second. So I just jump over this, grab that, and then run back around. And then, oh, actually this time it did not aggro. I guess it started to attack up, but doesn't really matter if you can just fast travel out. Okay. And then grab these Trina Lilies, and then straight north. This way. Over this guy. Strafe around here. It's probably good to move fast through that entire section, because they have some attacks that could catch you probably if you our lollygagging at all. And we're through. And yeah, that's like the last thing that we need to do through the main section of Liurnia. Now we are off to Altus, essentially. Steer left here, as per usual. Seems like I've said that a lot. So we can avoid the various enemies that are on the main path, including this guy. Looks like he maybe heard me or something, but didn't get aggroed. Not a huge deal. I kind of pick up mushrooms whenever I see them. You only need like 10 or something throughout the entire run. Or I don't know, you might even only need 5. I don't remember. But I never have to, I put myself in a position where I never have to like even check, because anywhere I see a mushroom I pick it up. And that's obviously for the pots. We do want the rune arc. And again, yeah, steering left avoids the aggro from the trebuchets. And you can just kind of run through this entire section. Yeah, now we never step foot again in Liurnia, like I said. There's Raya. And we grab this Grace up here so that we can access Raya later on, as well as have a quick path to Gillica. Stick to the right. We're avoiding various folks in the main section. And then up here we can turn left through the main path. We can just charge through these guys. They are very ineffective sentinels. Grab this Grace. Grab those golden seeds in this map, neither of which are actually useful at all, I think. But I always get them anyway. Down this way. Okay, and for this section, we just jump over this. Oh boy. Forgot something kind of important here, so important to keep a bit of a cool head. I'm just gonna run out this way. I should be fine. I'm gonna grab this Grace. And sick. I accidentally aggroed the guy. Okay, try that again. Jump over this. Make sure you have your katana. Lock on, unsheath R2. And we're done. Hey dude, how's it going? Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day. Thank you, appreciate it. No worries. Okay. That away. And then over here, we're gonna stay to the right so that when the gargoyle comes, it just doesn't see us, doesn't get aggroed. We don't have to deal with it. Grab a couple more completely unnecessary golden seeds. Steer clear so that we don't aggro the Margit clone. Grab this rune. And these mushrooms. And that's officially the last item we pick up in this first split. What a banger of a song. It's the Chet Baker version of Autumn Leaves. Beautiful. Weirdly enough, I think that the rapper known as Comethicine has a version of Autumn Leaves under the pseudonym Frank Cole, which is kind of funny if you ever listen to Comethicine's songs. But it sounds very different to this, and I don't know if it's even like related or if it's just called Autumn Leaves. I know that Autumn Leaves is like a jazz standard, but I don't know. I don't really play any jazz, so I don't really know anything about if this is the actual version or if Frank Cole's is the actual version. Okay, make sure nobody's aggroed to us here. Grab that Trina's Lily. And by anyone, I mean these golems. Make sure the golems aren't aggroed to you. But yeah, this trumpet solo, pretty incredible. Okay, make sure we have everything we need here. Most notably those kukris, and then cool. Yeah, we have our bow, and yeah. Okay, so that's setup section done. Here, let's make sure we have the correct item up, and just basically run up to around here. As soon as he turns towards you, you stop going forward, and then we want to just maintain this distance roughly. And right about when he passes that birch tree, we get on our horse, come to this little rock, and I'm going to switch to mouse and keyboard, aim roughly here. And then aim pretty precisely for this little vertical crack in the stone. And then as soon as he stops over here, I'm going to aim pretty far up and left on this rock. Perfect. And then the key here is to crouch, and we want to do our first unsheath R2. Ooh, that looks not too hot, before he can see us. I think that should be fine. Yeah, that looked a little bit weird, but I decided to go for it because I thought that it was okay. Usually he's angled a little differently, but the pattern is the same no matter what. So as long as you get the unsheath R2 before he turns to see you, you should be safe to do it if he's in that little region. The only danger is if he does his little dash thing. But I felt pretty good about that being okay. Okay. So that's DTS. I'll probably in the video have a bit of a longer explanation of what is going on there. Okay. And now we're just gonna get this Grace up here. Just to save a little bit of time before we go to the round table. Stay this direction, I think. Oops. Let's not fall off the cliff. We want to go over here. And yeah, we rest this side Grace, and we talk to our girl.
Forgive me to determine if you had them. It seems torrent, whereas I merely. There is but one other thing I can take you further in place. Very well. Let my hand rest upon you.
Sweet, and then once in here, we can run this direction. Get, well actually, let's offer this bell bearing, buy 12 smithing 3s, 12 smithing 4s, this dagger, this rapier, and this seal. And then we're gonna just start upgrading this.
You'll no matter lay out your...
And we're gonna upgrade that as much as we can. And that's basically how much we're gonna upgrade it until we're done with Margit, or Morgott rather. And then back to the Fort Gale North Grace. And we're gonna do a few things here. Actually, I guess I'm gonna pass time here before I do anything else. And then, because it's night, we can avoid all these guys up here. Most importantly, the archer up there. And then to avoid getting hit here, crouch, and then I just walk into this wall the entire time. And then the chariots won't aggro. And actually, I would recommend not doing what I just did, which was not upgrading until after I get the Flame Grant Me Strength, because if you need to Memory of Grace out, you'll lose all the runes that you just got from DTS, which is kind of stupid of me to like just take that risk for literally no reason. Adds like 5 seconds to do the upgrades first, or to level up first. Yeah, increase our flasks, let's allocate our flasks. We want, I don't know, 4 and 4. We don't need that many flasks, but I always get a ton for no reason. Oops. Don't want any mind. We want 15 faith. We want as much strength as we can get. And then we want, yeah, Ashes of War. We want this to be Golden Vow. We want to put our Strength Knot Crystal tier, as well as our Spiked Crystal tier in here, or whatever, Cracked tier. And then we want to memorize Flame Grant Me Strength. I think that's it. So then we have this Iron Ball. We want this seal. We want the Sacred Dagger. And I'm just gonna throw this here. I want the Charged Attack Talisman. And I think that should be it for now. Okay, so Golden Vow. We're gonna drink. We're gonna Flame Grant Me Strength. We're gonna two-hand our dude. And then charge R2, charge R2. Kind of did that a little bit less carefully than I usually do, but it was fine. Usually I'm not moving when I'm still doing that, but seemed to turn out fine. Now up to Altus Plateau. And at this point we talk to Raya.
I hereby take my hand. If I will pray that you follow.
Just talk to her, get the key. I actually don't know if it's necessary to get the key or if it's you can just show up to the Volcano Manor. But whatever. Get the key and then back to Lost Grace, or the table. I want to use probably both runes, I guess. And then talk. I want to offer Bernal's Bellbearing. And oops, we do not want parry. We want Assassin's Gambit. And now we're back to Fort Gale North. And now we have that, so we can rest here. And equip Assassin's Gambit on that. And then throw this on. Apply Assassin's Gambit, which is just another level of stealth. We need both Assassin's Gambit and for it to be night to pull off this part. A lesson which I learned the hard way. Reapply. Two-hand our weapon. Kill this guy. Assassin's Gambit. Climb. Always more safe to do more Assassin's Gambits than less Assassin's Gambits. Obviously, if you're probably super experienced, I guess you can just, like, do it at exactly the right interval of time in order to avoid anything, but I just do it whenever I can. So yeah, Assassin's Gambit there, crouch, and run through here, just right through the middle. Grab this. Assassin's Gambit again, crouch. Just slowly walk past this guy. Nice. Easy as that. Apply Assassin's Gambit again. Actually, I didn't actually need to that time. The festival's already been activated, so we don't need to be worried about ballistas shooting you while we're on this bridge. But yeah. So grab this Grace. Now we can apply Assassin's Gambit. Two-hand our left-handed weapon. And then run over here. That's our Ash of War. Okay, now we actually are almost done with setup. All that's left is to kill Patches, and we are... actually, I'm gonna, while I don't forget, I'm just gonna throw on Cragblade to this. And put on the Heavy Affinity. Okay. So yeah, we're almost done with setup now. The actual setup section, not the setup split. Moon always looks like the Death Star to me, with those like horizontal and vertical trenches that bisect it. Along the like X and Y axis. Or I guess it's not, whatever. Along two axes. You just get like those trenches. Alright, grab this Grace. Walk off this thing. Okay, and yeah, we're gonna go kill Patches, but first, when we get this little bush thing, we're gonna walk forward. We see that we can't get our horse, so we know that we've summoned Nerejuice, whatever. And then as soon as we walk away, as we have summoned it, we basically have ran far away that it gets sent. He gets sent back to his world, or they. I don't know. So yeah, very chill. And then there we go. We're going to Assassin's Gambit. Stick to the right. Run over here. Very chill. Through the fog gate, and then I'm just gonna get rid of that just for ease. Golden Vow. Cragblade. Drink. Flame grant me strength. Drink our physic. Two hands our weapon. And wait for him to do his buff attack, or his debuff attack, like this one. And charge R2. And then charge R2, and that's it. He's dead. This buff doesn't count as in a hit. Or this debuff that he sprays at us doesn't count as a hit. For reasons. Run over here. And now we're gonna get the shackle. That's the last piece of our build before we start actually fighting some bosses. Obviously, Margit's up first. And we want Assassin's Gambit once more. Up here. Oops. Well, I wanted that instead. Assassin's Gambit works on horseback. We're staying all the way to the left here to not aggro anybody. And then just get off here and just, we're good. Okay, and so for this we need that, and I think that's kind of all we need. Okay, so Golden Vow, Crackblade, Flame Damning Strength, drink, two-hand R, Iron Balls, and switch to Margit's Shackle. Charge R2, charge R2, charge R2. Take the riposte. And voila. That's done. Oops, why did I do that? Okay. It's still night, as you can see, so we've got a little bit of time. And we need it to be night to get through this section. And we're going to say no, I'll use the main gate. And then just dip right next to them, to the gates, and the gates will start opening. And then quickly let's level up our strength. Make sure that we have the rapier. We don't need that. Assassin's Gambit, crouch, very important, and then just stay to the right here. When we get to the end of this little bushes, I reapply Assassin's Gambit, crouch down again, and then stick to the right of these rocks, or to the left of these rocks, to the right of the passage. Around all this, and yeah, the ballistas just don't get you. And that only works, once again, because it is night. And then just run to the left, away from this lion. And we're going to pick up this grace for later. Oh wait, I need to progress the splits. Yeah. And here's the grace we need. Let's make sure... Okay, we don't need any of these, essentially. We just need... Oh wait, that's not true. We do need Assassin's Gambit. And we want to make sure that we have more kukris. Okay. Apply Assassin's Gambit. Run to the right. And this part is a little techy. Make sure that you have mouse and keyboard ready. Oops. Run through here. Run to the right here. Assassin's Gambit. Okay. Now up to this little tree. I can barely see. Okay. Assassin's Gambit. Switch to that. Mouse and keyboard. Ah. Oh, that was dumb. Okay. Let's do Assassin's Gambit again. Make sure we actually have the kukri. Switch to this. Kukri over here. Kukri over here. Run over here. Dig through here. Listen to that sound. Switch to two-handing that. That was kind of dumb. And then... Hopefully I haven't attracted a bunch of people there. I did that pretty wrong. Mostly just poor inputs. But it looks like I got away with it. yeah, normally you're supposed to just hit the guy instead of using an Ash of War. And then instead of smacking the side of the wall with your rapier, you're supposed to just use Assassin's Gambit. That part at the end is a little forgiving. That's kind of the only forgiving part of that little running section. But whatever. Did some weird stuff there. And now I have 6 Kukris, and there's kind of no reason for them. But I just get them every time anyway, just in case I'm in a sticky situation and I need to, like, draw some enemies aggro away. I don't feel confident about TPing away. Okay. Assassin's Gambit, stick to the left, jump through these crates, cracked pot, stick to the wall, keep sticking to the wall, and it's like, you were never there. Okay, well normally I don't rest at this disgrace, but I'm gonna have to because I accidentally drank. My Visic. Oops. Okay, I find Godric pretty hard, which is especially for no hit, because there's just like a lot of whiffability I find with this weapon. But yeah, do what we can. We want that, we want that. We have our heavy iron ball. We want to put our source seal. That's kind of it. Okay. Golden Vow. Crack blade. Drink. Walk through. Flame grant me strength. Drink. Charge R2. Charge R2. Oh, interesting. Rip. Okay, well. Oh well.